So my name is Gabula Paul. I work with the African Center for Global Health and Social Transformation. This meeting was called by the Rmncah Youth Engagement Platform to start preparing and collect ideas and input from the different stakeholders that are supporting youth engagements in Uganda and beyond to prepare for the Youth Summit, which is an annual event which fits into other national level engagements. So today's meeting has been called as part of the preparations. Of course, there have been a lot of other things that have been taking place behind the doors before this meeting was called. So I will request that those who have already logged in, that you introduce yourselves, then we can move forward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Difan Nahawi, and I'm from Active Youth Africa. So I'm happy to be here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Okwi Walter Martin, an SRHR advocate from Child and Youth Arise Network Uganda. I'm so glad to be in this platform right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Olive?
Okay, yeah, so that is Dr. Olive Sentumbwe Mugisa. I work with the World Health Organization, reproductive health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for attending. We are so privileged to have you on this platform. Somebody called Pole?
Yeah, protocol observed. Waga Pole from Naguru Teenage Information and Health Center, Advocacy Department. It's a pleasure being here. Greet you all.
Yes, good morning, colleagues. I'm called Joshua Thembo. I work for Naguru Teenage Information Health Center as the Advocacy Officer.
Nice meeting you, Joshua. Can we go to... Yes, go ahead, sir.
Can I come in now? Oh, yes. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Kadokech. I work for Naguru Teenage Center.
Nice meeting you, Sebs. Then we have somebody called Bridget.
Yes, my name is Bridget Kezabu. I work for International Youth Alliance for Family Planning.
Nice meeting you, Bridget. So I know many members are going to be joining us, and because of the time, and we only have 1 hour, we've already eaten 5 minutes. And like I communicated, I'll be jumping off the meeting to attend another equally important meeting. So like I said, this is a meeting called to feed into so many other national level engagements, but as the youth, we need to organize ourselves and support government interventions. So in terms of my opening remarks, I'll make some comments that will guide the discussions. One is that the task force that is behind the Rmncah Youth Engagement in Uganda has been able to put together some thoughts for our 2020 Rmncah Summit. Remember, this summit is supported by the Minister of Health, that's the government of Uganda. And a presentation is going to be shared, and we are basically seeking your input into the theme for this year and the proposed outcomes or deliverables for the summit. And then we also want your input into the modalities. How do we run and implement the summit? Remember, we are having lots of trouble of COVID, social distancing and stuff. So we need to think together as a team, how do we deliver on the summit, even with the crisis we are facing at the moment? Then the second communication is that the Rmncah Youth Summit was and adopted as a key deliverable. This is not just an ordinary summit, it's a key deliverable for the National Adolescent and School Health Working Group terms of reference for 2022nd edition. It is therefore critical that we have this implemented in consultation with all the different partners. That's why we sent out an invitation to a cross-section of partners that are playing a key role in supporting youth engagements in terms of their health across board and beyond Uganda. So this is a key deliverable. Then after a lot of consultations with so many youth CSOs, we are over 50 plus, UNFPA and the other agencies, we are making a consolidated presentation to the Adolescent Health Technical Working Group. Ministry of Health is therefore expecting this presentation as soon as possible. So this meeting is very important. We need to put our heads together and think together. And then the other communication is that the drafting of the revised Rmncah sharpened plan is ongoing at the moment. And I want to thank Joshua, who has been able to share some of the communications about this process. Thank you so much, Joshua, to ensure that everybody is equally engaged and contributes fairly. This is the mother document to the work we do, to the work we contribute to, and basically our constituency is being represented in this meeting by somebody called Amanda Banura from UIFPA, and then also from the SRH Alliance, and then Patrick Mwesije from UWAF, and then Joshua from Naguru Teenage Center. So we want to thank these 4 individuals who are representing us in this process, but much as there are 4 people who are representing us, doesn't mean that we should sit back and we don't contribute. We should send in our ideas through these people. We could also use other platforms to send in our inputs, such that we have a Rmncah sharpened plan that we all own, that we all can contribute to without saying, no, this is not going right, this is not going correct, we were not consulted. The consultations are going on, and therefore we should be able to contribute to the ongoing processes. So in terms of the communications from the chair, that's what I wanted to communicate. Unless somebody wants to make some comments on that, then we can move to the next agenda. Thank you so much.
We have also been joined by Minister of Education. Henry Semakula is online.
Who?
Minister of Education, I see Semakula.
Oh, Minister of Education, you are most welcome. You could mention you could introduce yourself.
Semakula Henry, Department of Guidance and Counseling, Minister of Education.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Semakula. We last met was it this year in Garuga? That's quite some time.
Yeah, but I'm available.
Yeah, thank you so much. So any comments on my communication, or we go to the next agenda? I would then ask Joshua to go through the presentation. Joshua, can you please go ahead?
Yes, let me do that. Meanwhile, those who have just joined, I would request, I'm seeing the Alliance has also joined in. RHU, maybe they could introduce themselves.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Apologies for joining slightly later. I'd expressed that to Joshua before. My name is Charles Owekmeno. I work with SRH Alliance Uganda.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Joshua, can I do 2 things? One, that you go ahead with the presentation, and then after the presentation, you carry on with the meeting, If I finish this one, the next meeting earlier, I could rejoin you. Kindly accept my apologies. Joshua, go ahead with the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Paul, for the great opening remarks. And partners, thank you for joining in. I don't know if we can see the presentation. Are we all able to see the presentation?
Yes, we are seeing.
We can see the
Okay.
presentation, Joshua.
Okay, great. So like Paul has said, this meeting, we are mainly trying to get the views of you, our partners, in the area of work. We are getting your views about the summit, the youth summit, bearing in mind the situation that we are in, the COVID. So like Paul said, the task force has been having deliberations over the summit, thinking through the theme, the outcomes, and where we should focus. But as we thought that we should share this with us, the partners, consult with you, and then come up with a consolidated document that will then be presented to the ministry. The ADH technical working group is waiting for whatever we are going to discuss in this meeting. So what I'm going to share with us is what the task force has been able to put together. Please feel free to critique it and share your thoughts about it. So this is the RMNCH Youth Summit 2020. Okay. Oh. So this is the summit. We are thinking of having an e-summit, which is the trend now, having an electronic electronic summit where we shall not have crowds of people gathering together in one place, but we are thinking of using the media as the tool to have the summit. So the theme that the team thought about for this year is reflecting on the potential effects of SRHR challenges affecting young people on the economy. So we are trying to bring a relationship. We are trying to say that the current SRHR challenges that the young people are facing today might have a great impact on the economy. So we thought that we should focus our theme on that and have a reflection. So bring conversations that will mainly take us the direction of reflection. So maybe you can take notes. When I'm done with the presentation, we shall come back and critique the areas. So we thought that the summit should focus on two areas. One, share evidence and further assess the potential impact of SRHR challenges among the young people on Uganda's economic growth, and then engage policymakers and key decision makers on the need to prioritize regional structures focusing effectively responding to the needs of the adolescents and young people. So one, we're looking at providing evidence and then assessing the impact of SRHR challenges. Then also would like to engage policymakers and decision makers on prioritizing what we're calling regional structures, or these will even further be looked at as the good practices of what partners are doing. So we'd like to see how can these be scaled up and be adopted. So what did we think about, what did we look at as expected outcomes? One is the commitment from Ministry of Health and developing partners on strengthening district or regional structures, systems to deliver better for young people. Then we want to, the outcome is renewed commitments from the partners and young people. You'll remember last year during the RMNCH assembly, all stakeholders made commitments, RMNCH specific commitments on how they would better the RMNCH space in Uganda. We all made commitments, young people, CSOs, private sector, ministry, and all government arms, development partners. So we are hoping that we shall also have renewed commitments from partners and young people to contribute to efforts of improving young people's SRHR in Uganda. Then, of course, we expect to have a policy brief addressed to key decision makers on scaling up of all these good work that we think that partners have done. Then have detailed documentation of partners' contributions to achieving the RMNCH commitments from 2019 summit. So we also expect to document what partners have been doing from July 2019 to June 2020. So we want to document partners' contributions to addressing or to achieving the commitments that were made last year. How do we plan to implement this? In order to adhere, of course, with the COVID guidelines and what is happening in the country and the world all over, the summit will utilize an electronic media as the main channel. Of course, here we're looking at social distancing and all that. And that's why we have called it an e-summit. We shall also utilize social media and all the other media spaces that might be available. So we are hoping that we can host only 4 panelists for the e-summit. I think there's something we need to update in the presentation. There was also a discussion that maybe would only host around 10 people in somewhere, maybe in a location, and then bring the TV or the media people there, and we have these conversations going on. And then we could also have regional hubs in the districts for other engagements. If it is the East and the West, we could have media people go to those regions and give us real-time feed of what the stakeholders in the regions will be submitting. Then we also plan to air related documentaries. This is the work that we are going to document prior to the summit. Documentaries of youth voices and what partners have been doing. So we plan to have this implemented on 26th of July, which is next month. And the duration for the summit on air, we thought of 2 hours. So what is the roadmap to the summit? 1, developing the summit concept paper. This is a summary of the concept paper that you're seeing on the presentation. And then consulting with partners, which is happening now. And the next step is supposed to be presenting to the docent health technical working group, constituting of task teams. We shall need partners to come in and support individuals with core strengths and would like to volunteer in this summit. We shall need them to come in and support in those areas that we have highlighted there. Then we also plan to compile partners' work on commitments. We are going to constitute a documentation team that will go to the field for a period of 1 week, documenting what partners have been doing. So we'll document the partners' work and also document and get youth voices. So the team will go with media colleagues, media representatives to make sure that we have good products to share with stakeholders. And then the coordination of the summit, documenting the DICAs and developing a brief. And then ultimately, we shall then host the e-summit. After the e-summit, we shall disseminate briefs and have the post-summit evaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the brief presentation of our thoughts about the summit. I would now like to ask us to give our feedback or react to the presentation that I've just shared. Thank you so much. Oh, I don't know how you think we should do it. Should I go slide by slide?
That is fine. Slide by so that we can quickly address them.
Okay. So that is the theme that we are looking at. Cecile, thank you for joining. UNFPA has joined in. Thank you for joining.
Sorry
So
for
that's
coming in late.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You catch up. Yeah, so this is the thing that we are looking at for this year's summit. What are your thoughts about it?
Is this the theme? And we need a theme in a short format so that it is clear and focused.
Okay, that is noted. Someone is taking notes. This is what we thought as the theme, but that guidance is also welcome.
Hello.
Yes, Cecile has a hand up. Cecile?
Yes, thank you. So I have a comment on the reflecting part. I think it's a little too soft, if that's a word, because we don't want to only reflect on it. I think we should use a word where we also include that we want to address it, come up with solutions, recommendations. So I think reflecting does not really cover every aspect of addressing and discussing and coming up with solutions. Over to you.
So what would you recommend? Maybe.
Let me think and come back.
Okay. Yes. Great. Sebi Kadukechi, you have your hand up?
Yes. Thank you very much, Chair. I want to agree with Cecil. I know that I am part of the task team here already, but as you made the presentation, Joshua, I paused a bit to reflect on the theme, and I was also relating the theme with the expectations, what I would call the objectives. Somewhere you realize that the objectives here does not help us to deliver the goal in this theme. So I think that it is a piece of work that we might probably want to reconsider reviewing and probably sharpening it. When we talk about reflecting on the potentials, my quick question was, what kind of data do we have to help us make that projection? Of course, all that we are talking about should be based on evidence. So, but also reflecting on that theme and the goal, whatever you presented there as expectation, which I could call objectives, it does not help us deliver even that theme alone. So somewhere I think, yes, we probably want to review that.
Okay, thanks, Sebi. Cecile has, there's some comments coming in through the chat window. Cecile says that maybe a small team should sit together and rethink through the theme with the feedback that we are receiving. I think I agree with you. Charles Owekmeno. Then we shall go to Henry.
Thank you, Joshua. My reflection around the theme is on the young people and the economy, and then SRHR challenges. I see the link, but it seems to be distant. I would have thought that we should drive it home, because the COVID has, this could be for the team, think the COVID has disrupted the normal programming. around most of the SRHR indicators that the country has had targets for. So my thinking was that this summit will help us to reflect around this effect of COVID. Will it affect maybe the country attaining some of those? And then what are some of the things, for example, advice that and recommendation that we can give to government to bridge the gap so that we don't lose on some of the indicators we have around, say, issues of teenage pregnancy, issues of unmet family planning needs, issues of contraceptive prevalence rate, issues of child marriage, that all that have been disrupted. So we would maybe link this instead of the economy to the effect on achieving those goals. That is just a suggestion for the team to think further about it.
Okay, Charles, thank you. That is well noted. Charles is next, then we shall go to Olive. Oh, Henry Semakula. Henry Semakula.
Thank you very much. My observation is also on the theme. When it ends like that, affecting young people and the economy, it seems as if we are concentrating on the economy. Hello?
Yes, sir.
It seems as if we are concentrating on the economy. We need to rework it out to possibly show the economic effects of COVID on the challenges affecting young people. There can be more discussion around that. Economic effects of COVID on the challenges affecting young people. But I'm also of the view that, not just of the view, but I also wanted to comment that the idea of an e-summit is very important because we've just come to live with this new normal of being online. Otherwise, we don't expect that by that date, people now have begun interacting. And the much I know is that young people are more online than those of us who are retired adolescents. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry, for that submission. Olive, then we shall go to the next slide.
Thank you, Chair. I think since this is an RMNCH summit, probably a youth summit, we probably want to talk about the sexual and reproductive health and economic challenges in this context, in the context of COVID. Because we are holding it in July 2020, COVID is still real and has had a lot of negative effects on the SRHR needs as well as the economic needs of young people. You cannot tell which one comes first, but they all seem to be very much working together. At this time, within the COVID lockdown, we seem to be having both the sexual and reproductive health and economic challenges affecting young people going high. So maybe the theme would really show that we are addressing, we are acting, we are taking action on the SRHR and economic challenges affecting young people within the context of COVID.
Okay. Thank you so much
for
the submission.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Sebi.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, once again. I listened to the...
Well, I think we lost Sebi. I'll request that we go to the next slide. Hello, colleagues, is that okay with us?
Yes, Chair, I think that's fine.
Okay, so next slide shows us the focus of the summit, which is sharing evidence and further assessing the potential impact of the SRHR challenges among the young people. on Uganda's economic growth. And again, with the feedback that we have received on the theme, I think it's going to affect so much the write-up down here. But maybe we could give our feedback if we have any reaction to the focus of the summit. Yes, Charles.
Yes, Joshua. One of the most important thing we need to do in this period is support and learn from each other. The COVID situation has disrupted, and Mr. Semakula called it the new normal. So I was of the view that as a key focus in this summit, we would probably focus on enhancing learning among the partners and the peers who will be participating. How are we doing? What are people doing differently? We would give opportunities to some young people who have adopted quickly and doing much better so that others can learn from them. The same for organizations. So I thought that the component of learning as a core focus for this summit would be really essential.
Okay, that has been noted. Yes, Cecile.
Hi again, thank you. So I think it's really good that we get the part of addressing the needs of young people, but I'm kind of missing the part where we talk about youth inclusion, giving young people a voice. I don't know if that could be emphasized a little bit more in this focus. Because yes, we want to address the challenges of young people, but we also, in this summit, want to give young people a voice, right? Over to you.
Thank you so much. Inclusion, very perfect. We are going to have it in there. Great. Seems we have no more submission on that slide. Cecile, your hand is still up. Okay, Dr. Olive.
Okay, so we are getting sharper now. We are saying we want to empower the young people in taking action for the SRHR and economic challenges within the context of COVID. So yes, the two objectives, the focus area, sharing evidence is very important, but still making sure that we are sharing evidence drawn now from so many districts on young people in relation to SRHR and economic challenges. And we are trying to make sure that the second area of focus engages policymakers, in fact, engages young people, policymakers, and key decision makers. Because we need, from the principles of programming young people's approaches, we need to have that alliance between young people, the policymakers, the community leaders, and all the influencers around them. So I think we can, the team can still refine these two. They are very, very well suited. The second one brings out the issues of who to target, and the first one looks at the evidence required. And I think we are still on SRHR and economic issues challenging young people within the context of COVID. Because this is a very special time, and we must always remember COVID has changed a lot of the current environment. It has taken us back on some of the gains made, and we must keep announcing it so that everybody takes it on. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that submission. We shall go to the next slide because of time. So these are the expected outcomes. I'll request us to give our input to them. Anyone have any reactions to that slide? Dr. Olive, your hand is still up. I don't know if you have a submission. Okay, it seems does not have any response to that slide.
Hi, Joshua. So this is Bridget. I think the expected outcomes are good for now. I think we should now continue to talk about maybe ideas around how to actually disseminate this summit in order for these outcomes to really happen. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking the expected outcomes are okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Yes, Charles.
In line with my previous comment, I would still also recommend that we have another expected outcome around learning.
Learning, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Dr. Olive, your hand is still up.
This is a new hand now. You've just said that district structures, regional structures, sub-regional hubs and so on.
Yep.
So we really need to now be committing the district and the community structures to be able to have this implementation on. Because the fact that Ministry of Health and partners have put this at the top of the agenda, I think we must really now be looking at who is the actual implementer. And this must now get down to where really things happen. And because if we get the expected outcomes involving the districts and communities where things are happening very badly, and within this context of COVID, we can tweak expected outcome 1 to include districts and communities. And then the second output will bring into view and context the issues of accountability, again, from that level. Because right now, the global strategy really requires us to be ensuring that the accountability systems at the community level and the district leadership levels, sub-regional levels where things happen, are really brought into view and focus whenever we are doing work. So those 3 can be tweaked just to reflect on where do things happen and where is the level therefore of accountability. Thank you. End of submission.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the submission. We have 13 minutes left. I'll go to the next slide if we don't have any other submission on that slide. The colleagues who have just joined in, thank you so much for joining in. So the next slide mainly looks at the implementation plan. I think this one we have already talked a lot about it, but just in case there's anyone else who has an idea or a thought on it.
Joshua, this is Bridget. I had a question.
Yes.
Is this, which channel had you discussed to use? Is it going to be a Zoom, the Zoom platform, or another platform, or the social media lives? I don't know. I just wanted to know which one you had discussed.
Yeah, we said the main media channel is going to be a television station, and then we shall also bring on other panelists through Zoom and Skype. If we feel we need any maybe from the region and cannot be brought in through the television, then we may have to use Zoom and Skype. But
Does this mean,
yes?
sorry, does this mean that there'll be like one youth representative, like to talk on behalf of everyone, like the young people on that?
No. Okay, so we are thinking that we have a studio set up of about 10 people. 10 people seated somewhere in the studio, and then you have other young people and stakeholders in the hubs in the regions. For example, if we want to engage the young people in the north, we may decide to have another hub of the summit in a central place in the north that will bring together around 5 people, young person and maybe a district leader, depending on the engagements we want to have with them. The engagements are what will inform the people we may need on the panel. So we shall definitely have the regional people also feeding, but they'll be feeding into this central panel that will be in Kampala, whichever location we'll have identified.
Okay, please, I've got it. Thank you.
Cecile, thank you for the there's a question on the chat. Yes, meetings are part of the implementation plan. We are going to add it in there. Thank you for that input. Dr. Olive, I see your hand up again.
Yeah, thanks very much. And your explanation sounds very fine. And I hope that when you are arranging the district level forums, platforms, it is going to be possible for us to insist that we bring a district leader on board, a community leader on board, these district health management teams, one of them, and the young people representation also, so that we have a team of people at the district level which should be able to take action on the subsequent decisions that will be made.
Yes,
otherwise
yes.
it sounds in the way you are arranging it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Cecile?
Yes, thank you. I was just wondering what your discussions were around the date. My only fear and concern is that this date is 1 month from now, and I still see some preparation and stuff that hasn't been completed yet, which is fine. But if we also want to mobilize people, promote this event, we might be limited on time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's great submission. So what would you suggest as the ideal date?
I'm not sure. It would be nice to hear from other colleagues what they think. But I think maybe early August. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't want to limit ourselves in terms of time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that input. Henry Semakula, then Charles.
Thank you very much. Following up on Dr. Olive's presentation, most of the view that at the district level, when we are identifying the people to contribute, we need to look at the different categories of the youth, not to forget the youth living with disabilities.
Yeah, inclusion.
Hello?
Yes, sir, I hear you.
Yeah, not to forget youth living with disabilities, because you often forget them in these discussions. For example, the albinos, those living with sickle cells, those who have visual impairment, and all the different impairments as we know, as long as they can make a contribution, it's okay. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, inclusion is very important. Yes, Charles. Charles.
Thank you. One of my comments was around inclusion, and I'm happy that Henry has brought it out. The other thing was that I see that we have just about 2 hours as the duration for this event. Then it got me thinking that we could probably think around having other pre-event apart from the youth pre-conference that would engage. Maybe if we have agree on a date that particular week, even at regional level. For example, we may not be able to bring young people coming from the region, but can they have events that would be directly linked to the conference so that there's a build up towards the conference apart from the youth pre-conference? So maybe the team sitting to reflect further can think through that as well. We make just so that we don't just tag ourselves to just the 2 hours event.
Yeah, I think that's a very brilliant submission. That we thought we have a whole week long, a whole week of activities. Great, thanks for submission. We have 6 minutes to end this call. I'll go to the next slide. Yes, so this is the roadmap. You've already spoken to the roadmap. I think we're also going to revise the roadmap based on the input that we have received this morning. So this is the roadmap, and I think it's the last slide. So right now we're at consultations, and we're going to revise this presentation unless someone has any reactions. We have a hand up somewhere.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning, Raymond.
Just briefly, have we confirmed the date?
That's the discussion we are having. The date that we have was a proposal by the task force, and Cecile has just mentioned that we may have to revise the date, looking at the time that we have and the preparations that we may have to make.
Chair, now since you are saying we have to think critically at that time, don't delay it too much. Maybe you can push in another week or 2 or 10 days, because remember your issues, the young people's issues are now really the hot cake.
Yeah.
We are in an emergency sort of mode, and everything for the young people must be taken head on. So yes, we need these consultations and we need to push a little bit ahead, but make sure that we are responding quickly, because now all partners, all interests are on the issues of young people. We are seriously seeing that if this is not now quickly taken on, the young people's community is very seriously affected in all ways. And we need to hear from them quickly and take decisions quickly. And the districts and the communities must be mobilized now. So all those factors have to be taken into consideration so that we quickly decide that extension, yes, but what is the acceptable sort of level of extension? And how do we quickly engage the districts, knowing that right now their response is not so easy, because they seemingly are saying we don't have the resources. The resources have not yet come down to the districts to enable us implement. So even as we go for the consultative processes, these are some of the district challenges we have to take into consideration, but they are very happy to participate in what we plan to do.
Okay.
So the committee must quickly send sort of information to the districts to see how they can be engaged, so that they give you their abilities in terms of resources, what they have. Because I don't think we have much to send down there, but there must be some partners there who are still supporting youth engagements.
Oh, true, yeah.
Quickly consult them and see what is possible. Then it will
Okay.
help you to make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the submission. So, colleagues, we are now, I think the slide is, this is the last slide. So if anyone has any other questions or any issue to raise, we shall take it now before we close the meeting. Someone has asked a question here on the chat that how many televisions are we going to engage? Someone suggests that we engage around 3 televisions to make sure that we reach all audiences. I think, yes, a good suggestion. We're going to do all that we can to make sure that we utilize the media channels that we have. And of course, the budgets are the ones that many times betray us, but we would love to engage as many media houses as possible.
Joshua.
Yes, Mr. Raymond.
Yes, do you have an engagement to do with having an input during the summit from our region, like African Union and the regional teams, or which is entirely national rated?
I think it would definitely be good to have the region, because SRHR is not just a Ghana issue. COVID is now global. So I think it would be good to compare notes, and we also learn from other regions. Africa Union, the youth envoy maybe would come in and tell us what's happening. I think it's a good suggestion. And if members agree, we would pick it up and see how to engage them. Thank you, everyone, for being part of today's meeting. We are going to revise these slides, and then we shall share a better piece with us. After this meeting, the next meeting we're supposed to have is with the ADH Technical Working Group. They are also waiting for for this presentation. And the meeting actually happens on 26th of this month, so we hope that we'll be able to make the presentation then. And please, when called upon for the next consultative meeting or a meeting just to update us on progress, please respond positively so that we can push this summit. Otherwise, on behalf of the task force, I'd like to appreciate all of you, our development partners, the UN agencies that have attended this meeting. Thank you so much for being part of the meeting. The CSOs have attended, thank you so much. The young people that have attended, thank you all so much for attending the meeting. So further communications will come through your emails. Thank you. Feel free to exit the meeting, please. We shall share the minutes.